know about you, but it feels like time is moving more quickly within the last couple of months than usual. I might just be getting older, or we might have just gotten thrown into a different dimension. That's another topic. I have no idea what's going on. A couple of people had come into the farm garden shop that I help out on Mondays, and I've been covering for some people on Saturdays. Lotus Farm and Garden, West Asheville. And they were getting soil blocking supplies. Quite a few people, actually all at once, were picking up soil blockers, starting to think about doing their own mixtures this year. And it's early January. And I was like, why is everyone thinking about this right now? And then I realized it's early January. So in Western North Carolina, zone 6B, 7A, depending on what elevation you are, seeding is in like 2 weeks. I don't know where my mind has been. I've been very busy doing other things, but yeah, it's already upon us. So we got all of a month break. It might have felt like I didn't get a break because I was still seeding arugula and lettuce a month and a half ago, because we had quite a warm spell here, which I wasn't complaining about because I was still harvesting. But yeah, if you haven't already, like I hadn't, treat this as your start. If you're thinking about doing your own starts for transplanting, the first brassicas go out March 15th in zone 6B. Onion sets and things like that go out early March. So, and if you don't have one of these in West North Carolina, this is So True Seeds. Fantastic little planter. This is overly simple, but it gets the job done. You just move the little red line to the anticipated last frost date. So for us at zone 6B, it's middle of April, and then just tells you first planting dates for all the major stuff. I mean, it breaks it into the common ones. I'll put this better full breakdown of seeding dates and transplanting dates for zone 6B. Put it up last year when I did my seeding series, but invaluable to have. So if it looks like a chaotic mess here, it's because it's a chaotic mess. I'm going through all the seeds, seeing what we need to order, blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, since I ordered a farming supply of seeds last year, I don't need to order that much. And I don't think I'm going to do tomato and pepper starts this year unless we get our greenhouse. I do have a 1020 greenhouse set up that I haven't erected yet because we moved, and then we were constantly expanding the garden outside, which is right outside this window. And these are some overwintered peppers that we're experimenting with. That guy's doing probably the best out of them all. We're just seeing what happens. Just sand in the bottom of those, well draining, just so root accumulation doesn't happen as quickly as it would. But I don't need to order a lot this year. The things that you're going to have to worry about first are going to be onion sets, any of your leafy brassicas that aren't direct seed crops. So that's going to be your broccoli raabs, your collards, any of your kales, Swiss chards. These take forever to grow, so do these Swiss chard if you're going to. If you don't direct seed spinach, do spinach for transplant. What else do we have? Cabbages, collards, any of the brassicas go out. Like I said, onion sets go out. And this will tell you basically peas get thrown in the ground at the end of February, but most people won't transplant those. They'll direct seed that. Basically all of your leafy green brassicas go out, and then you don't have to worry about your summer transplants until I will usually seed those beginning of March. Give them 45 days to go out middle of April. Some people wait until end of April here, beginning of May, just to be sure about last frost. But I am going to do, we have a ton of Baker Creek random seeds, which we will be doing. But if you're local to Western North Carolina and you want an open pollinated organic seed company, So True Seed is amazing. They're downtown. I'll put their website here, and their link's always at the bottom of my gardening and micro videos, just because they're a local company, and I always encourage you to stay as regional as you can. Southern Seed Exposure and Seed Savers Exchange. There's a bunch in the Southeast. If you're not in the Southeast, or if you just like staying with a company because you found fantastic germination rates, which is where I'm at, my current favorite, where I'll be doing all of my seeds, garden seeds from that I'm lacking, is just True Leaf Market. They're my micro supplier for Casey Gardens for my my microgreen farm, but I'm doing almost all of my seeds through them now because their rewards program is really good. Any seeds you buy from them, using my links below, I'll put it on the screen right here too, do go to help support the channel, just because it takes some energy and effort and time and processing to put all the videos up. So I appreciate any seeds you do buy from True Leaf. I get a small percentage of that, and I have no problem doing that because they're a wonderful company. I've had very little issues with any of their germination, which I can't say for some local companies. I won't name any names, but it's very upsetting if you do all the planning, which is what farmers have been doing for the last month. You do all your seeding, you spend a ton of time, and then you get maybe like 50% germination on things that have no reason to have less than 80 to 90%. For any of the leafy greens, kales, cabbages, broccolis, shards, any of that, there's no reason to have any less than like 85% to 90% germination. Things like carrots, understandable. Carrots are finicky. There's some finicky crops, but I love True Leaf Market because their germination rates are fantastic. Their rewards program is fantastic. If you order over $50, you get free shipping, and it shows up in like 4 days. They're out of Utah, Salt Lake City. Responsive, and if you order any amount of good garden seed from them to start your own garden, I think you get $5 pretty quickly. It's kind of like Ace Hardware. There's some random companies who just have fantastic rewards programs, and they basically just give away money if you use them at all. And True Leaf is one of those, so no problem recommending them. But if you haven't played with any of their stuff, I do recommend staying as regional as possible, just because the plants will have been bred for that region's disease pressure, bacterial pressure, that region's pathogens. I am not going to do a ton of heirlooms this year. I played with heirlooms last year, and there's some varieties. We're in a temperate rainforest here in Western North Carolina. We get buckets of rain and humidity after May. So anything that has bacterial wilt pressure, I've lost cucumbers 2 years in a row. I have tried 3 different types of cucumbers. There are some that I'm not going to play with heirloom anymore. Heirlooms will not have your bred resistances because by definition they are preserved. They are the original seed, and they're going to be adaptive to wherever they came from. If the heirloom didn't come from your region, so just do a little digging on the flavor profiles of what you want to grow. If the heirloom didn't come from your microclimate, it might not do well in your microclimate. Like heirloom tomatoes are so picky. I don't mess with them anymore. I go for the hybrids. Hybrid does not mean genetically modified, just to get that out there. Some people mix those things up. Hybridization just means, just think of dogs. People crossbreed members of the same family through generations to get aspects that they want. So you grow for increased color, increased tolerance to pressure, increased sugar content. People breed for whatever characteristics they want, just like in the animal breeding world. Not the same as genetic modification. Genetic modification involves injecting genes from probably a different species into an organism to give it a different characteristic. So the flavor saver tomato is one of the first genetically modified crops in the US, and that was to increase shelf life. I don't remember the specific gene that they put in it, but they will take genes out of fish, say, and put them in vegetables or vice versa, just to try to get characteristics. That's genetic modification, and that creates a whole slew of gambling with protein structures that have no discernible shape to our digestive systems. So hybridization is completely different and absolutely fine. Some people are purists and stick with the heirloom, and that's absolutely acceptable. It's just harder if you have a ton of pressure in your growing region, if you get a ton of rain, if you have any amount of not ease of growing. Heirlooms just make that harder because you have to pay attention so much more carefully. There's less buffer. It's kind of like the difference between growing in a hydroponic or an aeroponic setup opposed to in soil. A soil just gives you more time, a larger buffer time to pick up pest issues, pick up fungal issues or moisture issues or pH. Just growing conditions have a longer time for you to correct them, whereas aeroponics or hydroponics, if your pH is off, you're going to need to correct that in a day, or things will go downhill real fast just because you're directly playing with elemental ionic transfer and absorption rates. Soil's kind of hard to screw up. You have about a week to play with things. So it's the same analogy for hybrid and heirloom. Hybrid, they can tolerate a little more because they've been bred to tolerate a little more.
If you remember this time last year, we had some serious seed issues getting a hold of garden seed. A lot of the big seed suppliers like Johnny's were restricting seeds to commercial farmers in January just because they were having supply issues and didn't let gardeners order until February. So we're going to see if any of that is still happening or if there's any shortages going on. Carrots tend to be one of the things that showed up on last year. They were quite a few of these were out of stock, but it looks like these guys are all in. Let's check some of the weird varieties. I think Dragon was one of the ones I wanted to try last year and it was out, so that's in. So it looks like things are okay. We'll go to seed exchange. I'm just going to check a couple places to see if we notice anything screaming at us. These are all from my region. Johnny's is obviously the largest organic co-op. They're out of Maine. And the ones that I am just going to do everything from this year is True Leaf. If you haven't been to the site, really well designed site, other than the annoying chat pop-up, which is going to happen anytime. But all the microgreen stuff is here, all your common varieties. And the things we want are some... Oh, let's check on carrot. And I don't see any out of stock screaming at us. So it looks like this year supply is better. So if you need veggie seed, go ahead and start thinking about it, and they'll get to you within a week at least, but usually 4 or 5 days. So like we said, all of the brassicas, so that is your broccolis, broccoli raabs, cabbages, collards. They want the full name. And most of them are here. Yeah, so all of your normal broccoli seeds, DeSocio, Waltham, a lot of the heirlooms, early purple sprouting, all the fun ones are here. So no issues thus far, and probably don't wait for there to be issues because there are shortages of peat that we're seeing, peat moss coming from Canada, and cocoa. So get your order in now because why not? And if you're not in 6B, then you have a month longer. I know New England, our last frost was May 15th, and a lot of people waited until June 1st to put all their summer stuff in, but all the brassicas can go in a month later. So it'll be April 15th instead of March 15th. So still get everything going. If you need soil and you're in the Western North Carolina area, I'll put the links for Lotus below. If you like this video and you find it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, just so I know what you guys find helpful. Get your orders in, and you can find the links to True Leaf Market and Sow True Seed in the description below. Like I said, I do like True Leaf just because they're fantastic shipping times, but do always support your local seed and soil shops just to keep those people happy and employed as they always give back to the community. Until next time.